And good afternoon, and welcome to our Employer Highlight Series. We know normally we do these on Tuesday mornings, but Alex and I were actually both at an event featuring veterans this morning, and so we had to delay it this afternoon. So we hope we get a few folks that want to learn all about COTA today. As I mentioned, joining us is Alex Swager, who's their manager of talent acquisition. So, Alex, good afternoon.
Hello. Hi, Scott. How are you?
I'm all right. I feel like we've spent a lot of time together, here recently, which is a good thing, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Awesome. So, for those that don't know, our Employer Highlight Series is really focused on helping to gain knowledge about local employers here in the Central Ohio marketplace. And obviously, if you drive around Franklin County at all, you see COTA buses everywhere. But I think there's a lot of individuals who know that you are the public transportation system, but don't really understand the scope of what you all do, and the importance of the work that you do. So maybe we'll start with a little of that. Just give us a little background about the organization, and kind of set the framework for the rest of the conversation.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I'm with COTA and COTA Ohio Transit Authority. So, I think people commonly think of which, is a major part of what we do, but we are the transit authority. We have services even beyond our, I guess, we also have some ADA services for folks, assistance with transportation through our mainstream services, and then van services as well, helping those riders to get from their homes to park and rides or bus stops. And you can think of that as sort of an Uber service, but through. So we have a lot of different services that we offer in Central Ohio, in addition to our primary services, which is keeping our city moving.
Yeah, definitely. And I think of the last few years and the challenges that we've all faced.
Mhm.
Obviously, when we had no clue what COVID was, to being in the heat of a pandemic and a stay-at-home order, and the way that COTA supported and lifted up the community during that time, which I think is really important, helping essential workers still get to work even though there's a lot going on. So I think that's something that y'all should be celebrated for. Um, Part of this discussion is really understanding culture and that type of thing. And one of the things that
Mhm.
I want to be observant of, because the Ohio Jobs, Columbus Franklin County Job Center, has been an amazing partner of COTA for a while now. You guys have supported us in a lot of great ways. And one of the things that you mentioned was that last mile concept. When you talk about the organization, a lot of individuals don't realize how difficult sometimes it is to get from a closest bus stop to a destination. And I think it's amazing that you have started to really put forth some of that information in a way that really helps individuals get where they need to go in a quick and safe way. So thank you for that.
Yes, thank you. Absolutely. And, I think that our primary focus or our major value we're centered around in everything that we do is our equity, diversity, and that's for our employees, but also for our customers, for our riders to have opportunities, and having that quality services is so important for our region. So the equity really lives in everything we do, in our services internally, and the way we support. Try to kind of live by that through all of the things that we do. Yeah, our driving value or driving principle at COTA.
Yeah, absolutely. And we all talk about walking the walk and talking the talk, and I think that's the thing that COTA as an organization and the team, you guys definitely do. Um, so let's kind of shift a little bit in the focus, and let's talk a little about like what an ideal candidate that would want to work at COTA. What type of characteristics do they have? Like, what do you guys look
Mhm.
for?
Yeah, absolutely. An employee can look like a lot of different things. We have such a wide variety of obviously COTA out at a hiring event, they automatically think, well, you're only hiring a big bus, and we do certainly hire for that. But different positions, we have a lot of different opportunities, office out in the community. But I think when it comes to what COTA, I'd say the primary thing is that they share similar values in that they want to give back. We say we move every life forward in Central Ohio, and literally, but also figuratively. So I think somebody who wants to contribute here at COTA is really, really, really important. It could be as simple as someone that needs to get to the store to get groceries for their family, or somebody or get their kids to school. I mean, those things are so vital and important to our care. So I think somebody who wants to contribute to that effort is going to be the primary, a great COTA employee.
Yeah. And you mentioned obviously that the first thing we all think about is driving a bus. And
Right.
we're going to talk about that in particular a little bit later. But I think it's one of the common thread conversations that I have with employers all the time is this idea that even though you are a transportation organization, you have finance individuals, you obviously have HR individuals, you have IT individuals, you have logistics individuals because you receive supplies and things that have to be distributed. And so once someone is in an organization, there's always that room for growth and movement. And I think professional development is something all too often that we don't help you as an employer really highlight. So maybe let's take a few minutes now. Let's talk about that. Like, what does professional development look like in an organization like COTA?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think at COTA there's some level. It's a strong suit of ours. Is the professional development piece. Kind of at the beginning, when somebody comes on board as a bus op, we do a very extensive 9-week training with those folks. We help CDL their CDL licenses and get through all of the pre-employment that they would need to be able to safely operate one of our buses. The extensive amount of training and the fact that COTA kind of helps those people obtain their CDL, and we will help them do that. So that right up a great avenue for somebody who maybe has always wanted to pursue that career, able to financially or hasn't been able to access the correct resources. So that's it. Once you're at COTA, there's great opportunities. We have a small division here who's dedicated to career mapping at COTA, and so they and finding what are those developmental opportunities for people, and could a person have at COTA. We've seen, many of our bus operators, supervisors, trainers, in fact, chiefs who were bus operators once. So, there's a great deal of opportunity here at COTA for people coming in as bus operators, or we have somebody might come in ground level. They're simply cleaning the buses. Eventually, they go through training to become a vehicle maintenance technician and master level technician over time through the training that we provide. Definitely, a highlight at COTA is the opportunity for growth and development.
Yeah. And you mentioned one thing that I know we will talk about further a little bit later in the conversation, but the fact that you recognize as an organization that individuals may not be able to either one, work full time and attend school full time to get their CDLB license and endorsement, or two, they just don't have the capabilities to pay for the training, and you have a way that they can actually earn a living while training and being prepared to become a full-time, driver is absolutely amazing.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's a really great opportunity. I don't know that people um, always think about that, because I think a lot of people will approach us and say things like, "Well, I don't have my CDL," but little do they know we actually we love that, and we're here for you if you achieve those goals. So there's a lot of good um, you know a bus operator can get in with us. They earn a very fair wage. We're a public sector employer, so they get the Ohio Public Employees Retirement, and then a lot of extra benefits. We do tuition reimbursement program, of course, all of the health benefits, wellness programs, um, fitness centers, things that I don't know that the general public know that we offer to our employees.
You totally took my next question, so thank you. You just made the job a little bit easier. But you mentioned a couple of things that I do believe are really important. Of course, there's standard benefits. I think that we've come to understand that any employer that we're going to lift up is obviously going to offer health insurance and everything in that space. But I've had an opportunity to tour your facilities, and the fact that you do have weight rooms and gyms on site for the bus operators to use in their downtime, I think is absolutely amazing, because we oftentimes think, well, I'm sitting all day on the job. And
Right.
so obviously you're putting a wellness perspective in place with it. Maybe one other thing to talk about is some of the different types of shifts in particular that an operator would have, because for some, I think that's a huge benefit because it really fits their lifestyle.
Hmm. Yeah, absolutely. So I would say that speaking, just being, our part of we do try to be upfront and transparent when it comes to the challenges that we face. Is that for our bus operators, that is one of the more challenging aspects of just those first couple of years. The shifts are a little bit less predictable. I guess for lack of a better term, they're sort of in more of like an on call. Aren't entirely sure what their schedule might be day to day. Days they might have off, and they won't be the same each week. So it's a little bit more sporadic of a schedule. However, people to anticipate working under that for a couple of years, but once you gain a bit of, our operators have the opportunity to bid on schedule and have more of a preferred schedule that they work. And so a little bit of that in that regard. So yeah, I mean, I think that, like I said, part of that particular role is scheduling, but we do have other opportunities as well. Maybe don't feel like they could entirely commit to the full time opportunity of being, do want to get them with COTA. We do have part time opportunities for
Mhm.
drivers as well through those, that on demand service that we talked about before, and operator, and they're working more consistent schedules on a part time basis. On the road, if they say, you know what, I do want to try my hand at being a bus operator, you've already got your foot in the door, and it's great.
Yeah, that's awesome, and I think that those different ways to enter into the position is always such a good thing. So we talked a little about what the training looks like if they don't have their license and they want to obtain their CDLB and be an operator. But let's talk a little more about the hiring process.
Hmm.
Obviously there's going to be an application, but can you walk us through, like, from the time someone applies, what they would expect until maybe their first day on the job?
Yeah, absolutely. And if you go to COTA.com, you'll see a nice big banner there to gauge where they can apply online. Um, you know, uh, for bus operators specific, they're going to, once they apply, be invited to what we call our briefing session, where, again, in the spirit of transparency, We basically backs all the pros, all the cons, what to expect, and just sort of a real is what it entails, and maybe what the benefits are for them as well. The briefing is really a great place for people who are, interested in learning more, but if they're ready to commit to really talk to somebody one on one, ask questions, and then after that briefing session, if the person decides that they are opportunity, then we will go ahead and schedule them right on the spot for an interview. We do pretty much are 100% virtual, so we try to do that. And then for bus operators from that point, they have quite a few pre-employment I achieve before they can begin working. They do have to go through a pre-employment, like a DOT physical. They have to get their CDL permit. Talent acquisition team sort of helps to connect them with the proper resources, helps with those items. So we do try to support candidates through, stones to get them started. And then, like we talked about before, once the operators begin a training course, and that can be up to 9 weeks of training, officially on board and operating the bus themselves. And then for our other roles and like the coach cleaner positions I mentioned, they go through a fairly with just a few, I guess, they wouldn't attend would still do probably a virtual interview and still have a few pre-employment items. They would professional references and the pre-employment drug screen, and then they get started and training session with our learning and development team, and then they are with their department more like one-on-one shadowing and hands-on training from that point.
That's awesome. So, while it is very involved, a lot of those requirements that you mentioned are state requirements because of the licensing piece. It isn't something that the code has really decided. So it sounds like you've really built that in a really positive way. I think it's interesting you talked about that briefing, because to me, sometimes that is the deciding factor for a candidate when they really get that chance to ask all the questions that are on their mind. And we really want to do that before we apply. And we, get to the point of that first day of hire. And then you get in, you're like, whoa, wait a minute. I didn't know that, or I didn't realize this was going to be a certain way.
Right.
So I think that's awesome as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We found that it's really, us to really just hone in on the folks who are truly interested, ready for the challenges that come with the role, but also excited about all of the benefits of that.
Yeah, definitely. And so we do have the URL up on the screen if someone's interested in exploring career opportunities at COTA. We've mentioned in particular the bus operator positions today. And that's really the focus of our conversation. But I know you have a wide variety of positions that are open, so that would give somebody a chance to really explore all those opportunities and apply for what fits best. So I think the thing always super exciting about our employer highlights is that they do lead up to our Thursdays with an employer. And so if you don't want to have to apply and go to a briefing session, you could just come to the Job Center this Thursday, October 20th at 11 a.m. and basically get a briefing session before you apply, because we'll have Alex and the team here answering questions and helping lead you through that application process. And it starts at 11 o'clock. So you can always visit omjcfc.org/Thursday to get information about that and to grab your slots. Alex, we mentioned the positions lightly. Is there anything else that you'd really like to talk about with the positions that you're really heavily recruiting for right now?
Our primary focus right now is, and probably bus operator recruitment efforts. One thing to mention too is that we going on for our bus operators right now, $2,000 sign-on bonus coming in without their CDL, and a $2,500 sign-on bonus for those who. So That's just something to keep in mind. Again, our flex operator position, and then we do have a couple of sort of administrative roles right now that we're hiring for, and we have a training op soon for transportation trainers. So we have all different types of there. Like you mentioned at the beginning, we have a finance department, we have an equity diversity, we obviously have an HR department, we have an engineering and facilities. You name it, we have it. So we see positions coming up in all of our different divisions.
Yeah, and you even have a great communications and marketing team. We've worked with them on a
Mhm.
lot of different initiatives as well. So you definitely have a great diverse team, and I know that you guys are looking to add some talent to that for sure. So as a reminder, COTA will be here. Alex and the team will be here on Thursday, October 20th at 11 a.m. for a Thursday with an employer. So if you have an interest in further pursuing a career with COTA, it's a great opportunity to come in, meet the recruiters, start the application process, all from the comfort of our job center. So you can either register at the URL that's on the screen or call us at 614-559-5052, and we can connect you for sure. Alex, it has been an absolute pleasure to spend really the whole day with you. Um, they're only getting a snippet of us, but we've had plenty of other time together
Yeah.
today as well. Thank you so much. Any parting words on why someone should apply for COTA?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think it is a place where you can build a career. If you feel like you've job to job or you haven't found something you're passionate about, I think CODA is a place where you can be passionate about and work with just some really great people.
Awesome. Well, we definitely appreciate you and the entire team at COTA and the time that you've spent with us today. And we look forward to seeing you on Thursday.
Mhm.
So, again, as a reminder, if you would like to talk to Alex and the recruiters from COTA, just be sure to visit our website, omjcfc.org/Thursday to get your slot. You can also call us at 614-559-5052. And Alex, it has been a pleasure. We look forward to seeing you on Thursday. We hope everybody has a great afternoon. Thanks a lot.